All right, and we're live here on the Game Changers live program. My name is Sergio Tejeda down here in Miami, Florida, and I have a really special guest on with us today. It's Dr. Bill Dorfman, and Dr. Bill, as we like to speak to him, is a celebrity cosmetic dentist out in Beverly Hills for the last 30 years, and he's had a career that's really unparalleled to any other dentist in history. He has transformed the smiles of celebrities such as Katy Perry, Usher, Anthony Hopkins, Fergie, Hugh Jackman, Michael Strahan, Jessica Simpson, Mark Wahlberg, Eva Longoria, just to name a few. He was also the only dentist featured on ABC's hit show Extreme Makeover and is currently a recurring guest co-host on the CBS Emmy awarded daytime talk show The Doctors. And referred to as the Michael Jordan of dentistry, he's also appeared on numerous TV shows, including Larry King Live, Oprah, Access Hollywood, E! Extra, Entertainment Tonight. He's been everywhere. But one of the coolest thing is that he was the founder of Discus Dental, which is one of the world's leading dental companies, who he helped lead that company from its inception from zero to $1.3 billion in sales, primarily and with an award-winning tooth whitening products such as Zoom and Bright Smile, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. He's also, one of the coolest things is that he's the founder of the nonprofit LEAP Foundation, and the LEAP Foundation is out in California, and they really help students become tremendous leaders. It's a week-long motivational leadership program taught at UCLA every summer to more than 400 students between the ages of 15 and 25. And especially this year, they've had a big challenge with that, right? Because you've had UCLA and COVID, and you can't do anything in person. So we'll talk a little bit more about the impact he's had on so many of these students. And more than just a dentist, Dr. Bill is an author, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, a TV personality, health and fitness enthusiast for sure, and proud father of 3 daughters. So thank you so much for being on the show today with us, Dr. Bill. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
And like I said, I love your office. I need to get my background looking something like that when I get as successful as you are.
I was going to put a real aquarium in here, but I'm on the 30th story of a building, and the weight of the water was too much. So I opted for this virtual one, and I'm actually proud to say I have not killed a single fish.
And the maintenance is a lot easier too, right?
Yeah, way easier.
Yeah. So, one of the key themes that I was speaking to Dr. Bill earlier about, he's had a phenomenal career, really successful, 30 years or so in the industry, and has done some phenomenal things. But I want to get to the core of, I asked him, what was the game-changing thing, about your career, right? Kind of what was the key factor in your career? And you mentioned a quote from Einstein. Tell me that quote and tell me a little bit more about the impact of creativity in your success.
Well, I mean, the quote was this in 1921 when he received his Nobel Prize and was being lauded for his brilliance. He said, "It's not my brilliance that got me here. It's my creativity." And, especially in today's day and age, with all the competition there is in business, the thing that really makes you stand out is creativity. I mean, look at things that go viral. I mean, I'm not saying they're good things or they're bad things, but being creative and figuring out what you can do that will get that kind of attention is something that every business in the world is looking for all the time. And I think it's been one of the really important things in the success that I've had. When you asked me what was the biggest game changer for me in my career as a dentist, I would have to say ABC's Extreme Makeover. It was the inception of reality TV. And at the time, we had built a dental company from scratch with nothing. We did 2 million, 4 million, 8 million, 16 million. We kind of plateaued at 75 million. We had launched Zoom. Yes, I invented Zoom, not video conferencing, but Zoom, the real
the original Zoom.
And, we had plateaued at about 76 million in sales. There was a lot of competition. Crest White Strips, a great product. I mean, there were a lot of things out there, but ABC put me on Extreme Makeover, and that gave me the ability to show Zoom tooth whitening on primetime TV at night, along with all the dental procedures we did, and our company exploded.
Wow, that must have been amazing. Now, what did you do to get there? Because you look back and you say, "Wow, look at all these TV shows, all the success and so forth." But it's been an everyday grind, every day looking for opportunities, being prepared when those opportunities present themselves. What's your approach in that, right?
You mentioned LEAP. LEAP is a motivational leadership program for high school and college kids. We teach this every summer at UCLA. Now, this year it was virtual. Next year, it's not going to be virtual. It'll be in person. It'll be July 18th to the 24th at UCLA. And if you want more information, you can go to www.leapfoundation.com. Yep. But the thing that I love to teach kids is this. Don't wait for opportunities in life, make them. And the second thing is, when you get an opportunity in life, don't take it, master it. When ABC put me on Extreme Makeover, I'm not going to lie, I stunk on TV. Like, I was a dentist. What did I know about being on TV? But I was smart enough to know how bad I was, and also smart enough to not let that opportunity go by. So what I do, I took acting classes, hosting classes, teleprompting classes. I worked with the best media trainer I could find in LA. And this is a woman who worked with all the kids on American Idol and all these other shows. And I had this woman literally beat me up. I mean, she sat me in a room with a real interviewer and taught me all the things that I was doing wrong and how to be kind of the best version of me. And it paid off, I mean, our sales that first year on Extreme Makeover went from 76 million to 101, the next year to 136. And the third year we were on, we did almost $200 million in sales.
Wow. Unbelievable. And so, having the self-awareness to understand, okay, today, and because of, who I am and how I was raised and my experiences, I have certain shortcomings. And for me to master this, it doesn't mean that it's not possible. It's just that I haven't really gone deep in that space, right? And so you saw your shortcomings, you mastered it, you faced your fears, because a lot of people fear, being on camera, being on a microphone, being the center of attention because of the self-talk, right? The chatter that goes on all the time. And so you did that and was able to master that. So that's I think a really key lesson that people need to understand is, listen, we're nobody's perfect, right? We all have our issues, and we all have our fears and doubts and disbelief about ourselves. But you had the forethought and the preparedness to say, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to master this and knock it out of the park. And you did.
I think there's two things that people need to really embrace. Number one, we compare our darkest, deepest insides to everybody else's bright, sunny outside.
Yeah.
Everybody has issues. I mean, they just do.
That's right.
You just don't see them. And number two, no one's looking at you. They're so concerned with themselves that honestly, like, people don't really care that much about you. So get over it. I think one of the great things about getting older is you just stop caring. I mean, I remember like when I was in high school, oh my gosh, if I woke up with a zit, I almost didn't want to go to school. And you know what? At the end of the day, nobody even sees it, right?
That's right.
But we get this like in our head so much. And I think one of the funny things is, like, as you get older, I don't know if you feel this, and I'm much older than you, but you just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why like 90-year-old people will just say and do anything. And I love that, because they're like, I don't care anymore.
That's right. Yeah. And there's a freedom to that, right? There's such a liberty to that. And in today's age, like you mentioned, we're comparing who we know we are deep inside, and to everyone's bright side, meaning on Instagram, on social media, on Facebook, they post, the perfect life, right? And that causes a lot of mental health issues in a sense, right? Depression and other things like that. So let's go back to your early part of your career. So you got started in the dental industry and you did something very unique, very out of the box. We're talking about creativity, how to be prepared when you're faced with challenges. Tell me about the time when you applied for the dentistry opportunity in Switzerland and what you did there.
Well, look, contrary to popular belief, I grew up poor. I mean like broke ass poor, right? And I had never traveled. I'd never seen the world. I'd never even been on an airplane, pretty much. And I'm graduating dental school. I'm thinking, I'm gonna hunker down and build this practice. When am I ever gonna really see the world? So I heard about this clinic in Switzerland that hired American dentists. The problem is there was only one spot and there were 400 applicants. Wow. There's no way I should have been hired. No way. So what I did is I started having all the doctors in my dental school write me really nice letters of recommendation. By the way, if you want a really good one, write it yourself.
Yeah.
And it makes them happier. It's like, hey, would you write me a letter? And they're like, oh gosh, another letter. I'm like, I'll write it if you'll personalize it. Yes.
Yeah, so perfect.
I sent, I don't know, let's say 10 letters. I didn't hear from them. So I started calling. Now, back in 1983, it wasn't easy to make a long distance phone call like that. Like we didn't have cell phones or anything. It was a big deal. Yeah. So anyhow, I ended up, reaching him, and I started calling like once a week, right? And I realized I wasn't getting anywhere. And at Leap, I talk about life-defining moments. And sometimes you plan them, sometimes you don't. And this is one I just didn't plan. I literally said to him one day, out of the blue, I don't even know where it came from, can I take you to lunch? It's like, lunch? You're in San Francisco. I'm like, I know, but I'll come. Which is even funnier because I had no money, right? But he said yes. So I borrowed money from a relative. I bought an airplane ticket and I flew out there and he hired me. Now, out of the 400 applicants, how many do you think took him to lunch?
Yeah, especially, yeah, exactly.
One.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I got hired. And it was a game changer for me. It really was a game changer. I mean, I learned how to ski. I learned how to do better dentistry. Je peux parler français, avant je peux pas. I became fluent in French. I mean, it was really an amazing. I even have a godson there. My best friend in Switzerland asked me to be the godfather of his son.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that just goes to show you when you're locked into a goal and that you really want to make it happen, you can see yourself there, you start beginning to think of other new and creative ways to do that. And how that's, look how important that is. It changed the trajectory of your career. It really did. And so going to Leap, and by the way, we're on with Dr. Bill Dorfman, live from California, from the Beverly Hills area. Tremendous celebrity dentist of a number of stars. I mean, you name it, he's touched their teeth. And that, how cool is that to see them on film, on video, on the big screen, and them smiling and you saying, hey, I helped get that smile together. That must be pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Yeah, awesome. So going back to Leap, it's incredibly important right now, as we were speaking about, in terms of building the self-confidence, building the self-worth, the self-image of our youth, right? Of the kids that are 15 to 25 years old. That is a critical period. I was fortunate enough back in college to have had some mentors that really showed me the light in terms of, wow, I could really reprogram. I could program myself to achieve different levels of success. That is not always the case, especially with the younger generation and the way they're being brought up now. Like you mentioned, comparing themselves to other people, that is not a fair comparison. So I think it's really critical to have organizations like Leap that are out there building up the confidence, building up their self-worth, Tell me, what are the areas you guys focus on during this conference?
It's a week-long program. The students live in the dorms at UCLA, and we do everything from, how to write a resume, how to apply for a job. We do networking, communication skills, financial skills. I do a whole thing on health and wellness, appreciation. I do a whole program on drinking and driving. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. Unfortunately, my best friend lost his son at 21 to drinking and driving.
Oh, wow.
And as a father, he comes and talks. And I'll tell you something, if I say, don't drink and drive, they're like, yeah, I get it. Doctor.
Yeah.
But when a father who lost his son gets up there and talks to these kids, and then I have a 19-year-old young man who's a quadriplegic because he was drinking and driving, get up there and talk to these kids, it makes an impact.
Wow.
We do a lot on mentorship. In fact, Friday of Leap Week is Mentor Workshop Day, where we bring in 100 different professionals from all walks of life, and the students really get to sit at a table and talk to them about, what it is that made them successful. And it was crazy. This year, we did it all virtually. So whereas I normally get about 400 students in the program, we had over 1,000 students participate in LEAP this year.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I mean, that's opened up just a whole new portal for you.
Yeah. So going forward, we'll do a hybrid program every year. So I'll have the kids there on campus, and then everything that we are doing on campus we'll also do virtually.
Wow, that's fantastic. And how do you bring in students from all over the world, right? How do you select them? What's the criteria you're looking for?
So there's two categories of students. There's students that pay to come. It's $2,500 for the week. And, and then there's students that win scholarships. And we give about 60% of the students that come to the program come from impoverished families, but they're A students and they're great students. And so it really changes the dynamics of the program. When we first started doing the program, before I took it over 14 years ago, it was mainly all sons and daughters of dentists, to be honest. And, most of them came from fairly affluent families, and they'd show up and they weren't really that into it. But now, where 60% of the kids are vying for scholarships and winning scholarships to come, we start off with a bang, and it's super exciting and really fun. And we've had amazing, look, I could never afford to get Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Hopkins, Michael Strahan, Eva Longoria, Kathy Bates. Like, these people, I couldn't afford to have them come. They all come for free. They, like me, believe that our future is in our kids, and they're there to help and teach and mentor. It's pretty amazing.
That's unbelievable. And so where can they find more information on that? Is it leapfoundation.org?
Just go to, it's actually leapfoundation.com. www.leapfoundation.com. And you can call our phone number. But the program next year will be July 18th to the 24th. And it will be at the beautiful UCLA campus. And leading up to LEAP, I also have a podcast. It's called Meet the Mentor. And, we've interviewed all these amazing people like Eva Longoria, Michael Strahan, and Mark. And these people have great, great stories. It's hilarious. We only had this out a few months before COVID hit, but we are #1 in Yemen. We're #2 in Iceland. We're #3 in Finland. And we're 94th in a category of 47,000 in the United States. So we've got some traction.
That's impressive. That's fantastic. Meet the Mentors. And so they can find those on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Excellent. My friend, thank you so much for your time. That was a really inspiring story. A lot of good lessons there. And you're doing some great work with the LEAP Foundation.
Thanks.
and all these stars helping out. It's so important. So thank you for spending some time with me this morning, my friend. Thanks for getting up early. I know it's early in California out there. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon. But